all set to export the BrahMoS missile systems to Philippines. It marks its largest ever defense contract with a foreign nation. The DRDO chairperson, Dr. Samir V. Kamath, has anticipated ground systems to be sent in the next 10 days. The missiles will follow in March. This move underscores India's rising profile in the global defense exports. The DRDO has highlighted a substantial portfolio and rapid product development. The BrahMoS supersonic cruise missile is a joint venture with Russia. It continues to enhance India's deterrence power and solidifies its position as a reliable partner in the international arms market. This monumental defense export contract is valued at a whopping $375 million. The BrahMoS supersonic cruise missile system is a joint venture between India and Russia under the BrahMoS Aerospace. It stands as one of the world's most successful missile programs. The BrahMoS is the world's fastest supersonic cruise missile. It can be launched from submarines, from ships, aircraft, or even land platforms. It cruises at 3 times the speed of sound, making it difficult for the enemy to bring it down. BrahMoS has significantly bolstered India's deterrence capabilities in the 21st century. The next generation variant of the missile is categorized by smaller, lighter, smarter dimensions. It is designed for deployment on a broader range of modern military platforms. The Philippines, on the other hand, is now equipped to deter China in the South China Sea with the Indian-made BrahMoS supersonic missile. The missile systems will be the bulwark that the Philippines Navy's ability to safeguard its sovereign claims in the region. The BrahMoS missile system that is placed at the Philippines coastline will add to the military's capabilities to respond to threat. It also sends out a strong geostrategic signal to its adversaries of a strong intent to defend its territorial sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. China claims over 90% of South China Sea. It has been an intrusion over the territorial waters of Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and the Philippines. China has asserted even greater control over these waters using 2 island chains called the Paracel Islands and the Spratly Islands. Beijing has expanded its military footprint by building and fortifying outposts and airstrips. The military, trade, and strategic impact of this mother of deals is going to change the dynamics of the South China Sea. Let's open up this discussion. And joining me on the telecast, let me quickly first get in Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. You know, there are so much impact, so many talking points over here. And I'm going to start off with this massive feat that India has achieved in its Make in India Atmanirbhar defense program.
Thank you, Megha. It's a very auspicious day today and to be discussing this topic, because this is at the heart of every thinker who thinks on the strategic aspects and security of the nation. There's no doubt about it that we have been ignoring our Atmanirbharta for a long time. In fact, there was a policy at one time that because we are lovers of peace and Mahatma Gandhi and Gautam Buddha country, so we should not think of making defense and exporting defense. That was what we heard when I was in service. And that is where it deterred us, it harmed us a lot. But after the BrahMoS missile, as you've just mentioned, has come up, and BrahMoS we have overcome the MTCR missile technology control regime, and we have increased the range. The range is going to increase to 850 to 1,000, not only limited to 500, 350 to 500. It is going to increase. So imagine this cruise missile launched from all platforms, whether undersea, whether sea, over surface, land and air. This is going to give a massive punch to any person who's using the BrahMoS. When you're talking of South China Sea, you're very right that as Philippines has immense interest, there are a number of other countries which are studying this and watching the trials, etc. South China Sea is a place where China is occupying a lot of islands, making it into a military base for launching platform for their weapon systems, submarines, it's everything, and stopping the trade of various countries, all the 9 to 10 countries which we have just mentioned, and the South China Sea and IOR region. This
Yeah.
weapon system is going to make every country which possesses that not only build their capability, but build their confidence against China.
Right.
And that is why Quad has come up.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that point. I'm going to come to South China Sea and the aggressive tactics of the Chinese in South China Sea against the ASEAN nations and the deterrence capability the BrahMoS supersonic missiles are going to provide to the Philippines. But coming back to the point of India's position when it comes to the international defense trade markets is being doubly acknowledged, recognized with this one deal that has been conducted. And Group Captain Vienja, it is at this point important to mark that this is the fastest supersonic missile that has ever been built across the entire globe. The fact that it is 3 times faster than the sound, the fact that it can be launched from sea, from land, from air, this makes it unique. And not to mention the confidence that the world has and the countries that are wanting to buy these missiles from India have in doing this deal comes from the joint venture that was built between Russia and India for building these supersonic missiles, which are an upgraded version of the previous supersonic missiles by Russia that have also been bought in by a number of these ASEAN nations and other nations across the globe.
Well, Megha, to be very frank, BrahMoS is an ideal platform for an export. Philippines has bought I think the original version of the BrahMoS, which has got the range of about 300 kilometers. But they are, I think, exploring the possibility of the extended range as well. And BrahMoS has got that capability where it can transform itself. You just now mentioned that it has got the capability of being launched on all 3 platforms, whether it is the ground, air, or naval platforms. BrahMoS has acquired even the further dimension. Apart from being surface-to-surface missile striking the surface, it has also been transformed with slight variation of its technology to strike a very valuable naval assets of the enemies in the sea. So BrahMoS has got all those capabilities which you can or anyone can think of. And since it is a cruise missile, it has got the same stages of the missile technologies, what it incorporates. But above all, see, the BrahMoS is the one where you have got the capability to launch both in the daytime, in the nighttime, to surface to air, air to surface, or air to sea. In the future, we can also see the smart form of the BrahMoS that will be something great. Right now, smart is another variety of missile in which torpedo has been incorporated into the missile. So it's a great venture for the R&D platform for transforming BrahMoS into various technology, but not going by the joint Indo-Russian technologies of the BrahMoS. India possesses independent cruise missile, independent ballistic missile capability, even tree-top kissing missile technology like Nirbhaya, what we had tested about 2.5-3 years back. So all those things are there. But coming back to Philippines needs that missile because China has been dictating terms, drawing those 9 dotted lines in its vicinity, and having a hegemony onto all its neighbor. How can anyone tolerate? One by one, you only mentioned that many of the Sparkland, many of the small spaces within the sea has been grabbed by Chinese, whether it is the artificial platform or it is the coral area. So Chinese have been dominating that area, and it was high time for Philippines to have acquired this. In the coming days, we can see many nations coming forward to buy this particular technology. It's a cruise missile. It has got even we are looking into the ECM, ECCM capability giving the BrahMoS. So cheers to Philippines that they are having a very good platform for the missile capability. And in the coming days, as more and more value additions go into BrahMoS, I'm sure this missile will be one of the most credible missile in the world, comparable to any of the best in the category.
Right,
Neha.
right. Colonel Shailendra Singh, when this landmark moment, which becomes a pivot for India to showcase its defense export capabilities, because we have up until now traditionally been called a country that imports most part of its defense equipment armory that it requires. Traditionally, our defense partner, our import partner being Russia, United States of America now, and then we talk about France. So, this tilt that is witnessed in the current geostrategic sphere and the defense market sphere only fortifies India's position as a major defense global power.
Republic Day to all of you. If you can allow me, we say Russia was the creator of this missile system. Why it couldn't sell it so well as what suddenly इसमें ऐसे कौन से सुरखाब के पर लग गए कि आज वो इतनी फेमस हो गई. Don't take it that the missile has become famous. It is the stamp of India which has made it famous, because India buys, India makes sturdy equipment, reliable equipment, those equipment behind which there is a honesty. Why Chinese weapons are not so famous? Why? Why US is not so famous? Because either it is fake, the way Chinese make it, or it is so exorbitantly expensive as what US does. And that too, US has the characteristic of blackmailing you at any time, that they may not give the spares, they may not give the supply. I think that is where the India comes in. India has come in at a time, at a place of our own choosing. We were the importers, so what? We have changed it. Can you stop it? No, nobody can stop us. It's our right. It is my right. It is my life. You can't change it. We have started deciding. We have started taking systems the way it is going to suit us. We are not there. We are actually not there. We have not made this missile, BrahMoS, for exporting, by the way. We made it for ourselves. It's made headlines. It has earned a reputation. And now people are looking at it. Let me tell you why Philippines would have looked at it.
No, of course, the point that these BrahMoS missiles have been made, this is showcasing India's prowess, acting as a strong deterrent to aggressors that surround us in the Indian subcontinent, but also the fact that India has, when we talk about Make in India Defense Initiative, we are also moving to the next phase of becoming a global exporter of defense equipment.
This is what exactly I am coming at. What I'm saying is that it is earning name. And best of it, when I'm saying why Philippines started it, Philippines very well knows it. There is a second one incoming. Agar 3 times speed of sound is little inadequate to them tomorrow morning, they know 8 times this speed of sound is coming in. It's in the pipeline. People know it. People are waiting for it. And when I'm saying we are going to be the global traders for this or for further equipment of defense, it is again, let me tell you, we don't want it. Sir ne kaha, Bakshi sir ne kaha, कि सुनते आए थे हम defense नहीं करना चाहिए because we don't believe in aggression. No, we are very much believer of that still, from your age to our age. But what we have done is that we have started defining defense word the way it is suiting us. Now it suits me that I'll have those weapons, I'll have those systems which will make sure that you dare not look into my direction because you know what are the consequences going to be. And for that, there is a requirement of money. So we have started agreeing with such countries like Philippines that wherever your self-respect is involved, let's cut out this 9 dash line. Who the hell is China to say that this is the dash? आपके territory के जो sea territory है, उससे 10 किलोमीटर के बाद आप आगे आ नहीं सकते. Where are the international laws? You will see when such equipment goes to such countries which are in need, which are being bossed around by the world, That is where we will become a global trader for self-defense weapon systems.
Yeah,
That
I
is what
was coming to that. I was coming to that. Now I'm going to take a look at the larger aspect, the Indian Ocean region and the South China Sea, and the particular very vulnerable ASEAN nations who are at this point in time struggling to safeguard their sovereignty. And as Philippines has decided to buy and come into this deal of buying the supersonic missiles BrahMoS from India, there are other nations including Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia who have also come up and showcased interest in following suit. Now, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, there is one point that this acts as a deterrence for the ASEAN nations to safeguard their sovereignty against Chinese aggression and invasion, which has been very rampant and very visible in the last decade or so. We also talk about how India comes across as a strong counter to this Chinese aggression in South China Sea and becomes particularly a key player in the Indian Ocean region, in the Indo-Pacific, and thereby we talk about the South China Sea, which up until now was seen as a territory dominated by the Chinese. And I also want to raise the point that up until now, the ASEAN nations were reticent to call out China. They would be scared. They would at this point of time, be meek spectators to say what was happening in Taiwan or what was happening in Japan or even in South China Sea. And there has been a turn of events, a change of heart, where they see that they can be supported by countries like India in then going about making these strong deterrence attempts and counters at China, knowing well that they are backed by these defense missiles and the foreign policy that India showcases against China.
Absolutely right, Megha. There's no doubt about it. But first thing, everything lies in your way you think, way you write a doctrine. When I mentioned earlier that our doctrine was different, which was different. Because why? Because we were not self-sufficient and we did not want to pay attention to the defense. Because there were other activities, lucrative activities, which we are involving, and forget about all that. We have now changed. For the last 8 to 9 years, forget, we are no more, we don't think like peace-loving nation and etc. We want peace, but where our peace is harmed, where our independence is harmed, we are going to be very aggressive. That we have shown. We are showing it by and by, and our policy has changed, and that is what is affecting the littoral. Other countries are now gaining confidence in us. And not only this, when they see that we are walking the talk, we are not only saying politically, but we are proving it on the ground. Our LCA has come up, which the countries are trying. Our BrahMoS missile, other missile systems are coming up. We are no more facing shortage of arms and ammunition. We are fast catching up with our insecurities, what we were having during Kargil war in terms of equipment. Now we don't have that. Why? Because we have changed our line of thinking and we have affected others. When Shinzo Abe, the late Japanese Prime Minister, had mentioned that India is now must take the lead in the South China Sea so that all the other countries, they should form a group. And that is what the aspect of Asia-Pacific nations came. And he said it is an Asia-Pacific strategic area which India must take leadership of. And that is what it meant. Because this, of course, he was supported by America, because America, for political reasons, wants somebody to dominate against China out here, no doubt. Taiwan is looking for that. India is assuming this sort of a leadership, but barring the opposition and people who think opposite to this idea, India is soon going to gain ground. All other countries are now coming close to us. G20 has proven our leadership, our thinking, our thought process. And you will see, let me tell you that Megha, that whenever a country is weak in the aspect of defense, howsoever big its market may be and fields of crops are maybe, if it cannot defend itself, all these million acres of wheat land go waste. Nothing happens, nothing can save. So the defense industry has to be strong. And that is where our DRDO and all are working. They are now, ask Group Captain Jha, he will tell you how the things have changed in the last 5 to 6 years. Now people have started wondering where India was hiding for all this time.
Yeah.
And this is how it is coming up. And that is why BrahMoS is just one small example. Where we
Absolutely.
are going to build something better than BrahMoS, where South Korea, Philippines, Brunei, countries like Brunei, Indonesia, they are all looking up to us. So
Absolutely.
South China Sea is going to change. There
Yeah.
is absolutely, that's my hope, and
Yeah.
I'm sure this is going
Absolutely.
to.
Group Captain Vyancha, now, does this send a strong message to China by India's side? And again, a war front that has been opened, but obviously, this is an indirect message to China by India, that by equipping countries that are in belligerence to China in the ASEAN region, India is then taking on another front war with China.
एब्सोल्युटली लुक ये समय ये काल जो मोदी जी ने कहा था कि ये वॉर का समय नहीं है हाउ लॉन्ग विल चाइना डिक्टेट टर्म्स विथ इट्स नेबर्स it has been dictating terms with every neighbor that it has got all around. So how long will they continue? Look, coming back here in this particular case, right now Philippines has said enough is enough. We will not tolerate anymore, and they have gone for BrahMoS for a very reasonable cause, because they wanted their economic zone, economic waters, exclusive economic waters to be protected. And the exclusive economic zone of any nation which has got the coastal area extends till about 200 nautical miles. So BrahMoS has got the identical capability to strike any targets within that range. That is how Philippines has gone for it. It has not gone beyond. But otherwise, today India, I had written an article about a year back, self-reliance of India in missile technology. And there, what I found is India has gone from strength to strength. See, the BrahMoS first variant, I think when I had joined services, from those days, somewhere in between, I have been seeing the BrahMoS coming up there in the Republic Day parade in some form or other. But those are decades back. Today's BrahMoS has got that lethal capability, what Colonel Singh was trying to tell you, that it has acquired that reputation of being pinpoint accuracy, fail safe. So with this, it has got the reputation now that it can, without any fail, it can strike the target that it has got in this range, and that is how it is there. That is how Philippines has gone for it. But otherwise, you talk about missile, we have got Pralay missile, Agni missile, we have got various types of quick reaction missiles, Rudram, Shaurya, Nirbhay, and then other range of Agni missiles and K series of the missiles. In the missile today, India has got self-reliance, and as far as the export is concerned, this is only the first nation which is buying it now from here, but you will find many more. See, these big countries, especially China, cannot have hegemony in the waters, because every nation's sea, the coast or the sea line is a very important economic source for their country. And if countries like China, they dictate terms, they become hegemonic forces, they will have to resist. So all the nations that we have termed, starting from Philippines, Brunei, and every nation that you take, they will have to rise against this force.
Yeah.
And this is a very right time that Philippines is acquiring this technology. India has also supplied some of the fast reacting boats to one of their neighboring country of the China, especially Vietnam.
Okay.
So we are moving towards supporting it.
I want to also put this another perspective to this discussion. Colonel Shailendra Singh, the point that there has been aggressiveness that has been shown by the Chinese, whether we talk about the India northern front or the western front, or now even the eastern front. When we take a look at Myanmar, how it is being used as a proxy nation by the Chinese to infiltrate arms and drugs, and even people, insurgents that are coming into Manipur and causing this distress and violence and a very vulnerable border. We take a look at Pakistan, something similar is happening. We take a look at We take a look at the eastern, we take a look at the northern front, where obviously there is a direct confrontation that happens between India and China. There was something similar that China was trying to build in Nepal. It has still not been able to do so because of a change of regime and the better understanding of how the Chinese debt trap policy works. The question that I'm going to raise over here is about how China has been wanting to surround India, whether directly or indirectly, showcasing its military might. And there you have India for the first time in a counter using this indirect way to target China. What does this then, how does this move take forward in the larger scheme of military and strategic schemes that both the countries will apply to put pressure on each other?
I think China is like, that high-headed billy, कि अगर वो कबूतर के सामने आ जाती है तो उसे लगता है कि हर बार कबूतर आंख बंद कर लेगा कि बिल्ली मुझे नहीं मारेगी. What we have done with Philippines and what we are learning, and I'm sure it is not messaging. It is definitely a defeat to me and my country if it is only messaging. We are clearly saying that we are also learning that we will not fight our battle ourselves. We'll make our battle fought with you, with all those people with whom you are doing this dadagiri, where you are bulldozing, where you are scaring, where you are trying to dominate, you are doing a dadagiri on that. We are also learning, and we are only repaying back to you the way you like it. Pakistan liked that, yes, force to be used against them. We have started. So you find, where is Pakistan today? Same. China, you were trying to corner us by taking out that, okay, fine, we will do something with Bhutan, we will do something with Nepal, because you have only one power. You got those deep pockets in extra money that you can spend. You cannot buy character of every country. Let me tell you one. Sri Lanka has learnt it the hard way. They have already learnt it. Everybody understands world over that the trap loan of China, where does it lead you to? Countries are getting wiser. They have their need for money. And yes, that lure is good enough that somebody may fall for it. As far as I'm concerned, India should make it a policy to declared policy, I'm saying, that any country which is finding its sovereignty under threat from China, we will stand with them. You think we are giving BrahMoS to the Philippines just for the heck of it or for the business of it? No, sir. There's a strategic alliance behind it. If something goes wrong, we are there. If something goes wrong against us, you have to be there with us. That is what everybody does. This is what is a diplomacy. This is called as strategic diplomacy.
Absolutely. All right, I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. But the crux of this big development, it's more than a military sale that has happened. It is more than the bilateral relationship between India and the Philippines. And in fact, the larger foundation of India building its prowess in wanting to give China back in its own coin, in utilizing the allies in South China Sea to attack Chinese interests, and thereby the lesson that the Chinese Communist Party will learn the hard way.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.